Have you ever felt unheard because of who you are? Maybe you were told you're too sensitive, too loud, or that your experience isn't valid. Or perhaps you felt the pressure to fit into roles you never chose. Welcome to Mind Made Clear, where mental health meets clarity. We believe therapy should feel less like a mystery and more like a map. Many people begin therapy unsure of what to expect or what kind of approach will actually help. CBT, ACT, EFT, or EMDR? Don't know the difference? You are not alone. So if you're asking, what kind of therapy is right for me? Let's find your fit together. Today we're exploring feminist therapy, an approach that helps people reclaim their voice, challenge unfair systems, and build equality inside and out. Fasten your seatbelts, set your seat to upright position, get ready for takeoff to mind clarity. What is it? Feminist therapy isn't just about gender. It's about power, voice, and fairness. It grew from the feminist movement of the 1960s, when women began challenging how traditional psychology often blamed individuals for problems rooted in society. While many approaches focus solely on the self, built on the idea that you can't change anything or anyone but your perception, feminist therapy asks a radical question. What if the problem isn't just in you, but in the system around you? This approach brings a social justice attitude to therapy, recognizing that mental health doesn't exist in a vacuum. It helps us see that what we call symptoms are often natural reactions to inequality, discrimination, or social pressure. Who is it for? This approach is for everyone who's ever felt silenced, stereotyped, or limited by the roles society expects them to play. That includes women, men, and people of all gender identities. It's for anyone who's been told to toughen up, to fit in, or to stop overreacting. If you've ever thought, maybe it's not me, maybe it's the system, feminist therapy helps you unpack that thought with compassion and evidence. It invites you to explore how your story interacts with social structures, not to create blame, but to create understanding. How does a session look like? In a feminist therapy session, the relationship is collaborative and equal. You're the expert on your own life, and the therapist is a partner who helps you make sense of how social systems shape your experience. You might explore questions like, how do gender roles, body ideals, or cultural expectations affect how I see myself? Where have I been silenced or overlooked because of an identity I hold? How have power dynamics shaped my relationships or career choices? Feminist therapy doesn't just look inward. It also looks outward at the context you live in. It reminds us that healing isn't only personal, it's also political. How does the process look like? Feminist therapy unfolds through awareness, reflection, and action. You identify how power and inequality affect your emotions and relationships, then learn to use your voice with confidence and integrity. One of the key frameworks in this approach comes from psychologist Dr. Pamela Hayes, who developed the addressing model in 1996. It reminds therapists to consider all the layers of identity that influence a person's experience. A. Age and generational influences. D. Disability, acquired or developmental. R. Religion and spiritual orientation. E. Ethnic and racial identity. S. Socioeconomic status. S. Sexual orientation. I. Indigenous heritage. N. National origin. G. gender and gender identity. Using this model, therapists see clients not as isolated individuals, but as people shaped by culture, history, and power. That awareness helps transform therapy into a space for both personal healing and social awakening. Let's return to Rohan, the same client we've followed through other therapy approaches. Rohan was born and raised in India and later moved abroad for work. He's intelligent, thoughtful, and deeply respectful, values his family raised him with. But lately, he's been feeling invisible at work. When he speaks, colleagues sometimes interrupt him or make jokes about his accent. He smiles politely to keep the peace, but deep down, he feels small, as if his voice doesn't belong. In feminist therapy, Rohan's therapist invites him to explore not just what he feels, but why. They use Dr. Pamela Hayes' addressing model to map his experiences, noticing the intersection of his ethnicity, national origin, and gender in a workplace that values loud, assertive voices. The therapist gently asks, "What if your quietness isn't a flaw? What if it's the wisdom of someone who learned to listen deeply, but who's now in a system that rewards a different kind of power?" For Rohan, this is a turning point. He realizes that what's being challenged isn't just his confidence, it's the system that decides whose voices count. Together, they work on small but powerful steps, speaking up without apology, addressing subtle bias, and supporting colleagues who face similar challenges. Rohan begins mentoring younger employees from diverse backgrounds, helping them navigate the same barriers. He learns that healing isn't only about adapting, it's also about challenging the structures that keep people small. That's the essence of feminist therapy. It doesn't just ask you to change yourself, it asks, how can we change the system too? Try it yourself. Here's a reflection you can try today. Think of a situation where you felt powerless or dismissed. Ask yourself, was this entirely about me? Or was something larger at play, like a bias, stereotype, or system? Naming the system doesn't erase personal responsibility. It restores perspective. You begin to see that your feelings often make perfect sense in an unfair environment. Now, a quick fit check. Ask yourself, do I want a therapy that connects my personal pain to the world I live in? Do I care about fairness, equality, and using my voice with intention? Am I ready to explore not just how I've been shaped, but how I can help shape change? If you said yes, feminist therapy might be your fit. It's for anyone who wants to grow and challenge the systems that limit growth. That's feminist therapy. Empowering, reflective, and transformative. It reminds us that mental health isn't just about adjusting to the world. Sometimes it's about changing the world. So while other approaches may focus on changing your perception, this one asks, what if your perception is clear and the problem is the system? If this approach resonates with you, share your thoughts in the comments. Does feminist therapy feel like your fit? And tell us which therapy you'd like us to explore next. Don't forget to subscribe, because when your mind is made clear, you live lighter.